Hello, everyone. Hi, Donna. And I just want to say welcome and thank you to everyone for taking the time to join us today. On behalf of all of the Rotarians, District 5360, it is such a pleasure to be here. And I'm so glad we have people joining us. My name is Sadia. As you may know, I am the Committee Chair for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and I am going to introduce Donna to everyone. So Donna Bishop is a Métis woman who lives to assist the community with cultural information and an unconditional loving ear. Donna was a professional singer, songwriter for 10 years and traveled to Canada to share her love of music. She then joined the Correctional Service of Canada and worked in multiple roles for 26 years before retiring. She started at the Red Deer Native Friendship Society as a cultural team lead and has been there for 2.5 years now. These are Donna's words, quote, "I live my life by trying to walk in a good way to honor those who came before me." Donna, it is such a pleasure to have you with us today, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And I know you on a personal level, and you're so amazing. Yeah, great. So I should maybe mention that I am part of the Urban Spirits Club here in Red Deer. It's an amazing club, so everyone is so good. So Donna, I want to talk about, this is National Indigenous History Month. And yesterday was National Indigenous Day. What was your day like? Did you do anything exciting, or what did you do yesterday?
Well, besides housework and all that kind of stuff, all of us gals and guys from the Red Deer Native Friendship Society gathered quietly with a bunch of our RCMP friends and emergency services, the fire chief from Innisfail, and we did a silent round dance, distancing round dance with ribbons in between around the rocks by Coronation Park. We got that on film from a drone, and we submitted that, and it really felt good without saying anything, because the Friendship Center, it really is about that, being that in between and offering friendship to all, not really getting too involved except in the love and in the visuals and in the things we do. So we're very much into action. So that's what I did yesterday and felt really good. And then a couple of the gals joined me later on for a fire, and they brought their beads, and we sat around for a bit and talk about the day and how good it felt to do that. And I think that's what it's all about, is just acknowledging each other and sharing a good nosh and some friendship, and just acknowledging the day for what it was, which was very symbolic.
Awesome, Donna. So let me start with how about if you can share with us the meaning of round dance and what's that about for our viewers and listeners that are listening in today?
Well, there's many different interpretations, and you can go to many different lands and treaty lands, and the old ones will tell you many different ways. But I think the communal and the universal, it's about kinship, connectedness, that we're all connected. And we dance in honor of that interconnectedness in our communities with all walks of life. And we do it in that circle, so we are all equal and the same, and to honor that connectedness, that feeling of community, that feeling of kinship.
Thank you, Donna. That's awesome. So I want to kind of want to talk about, if you can explain to us, what is National Indigenous History Month about in Canada?
Once again, there's so many different perceptions of it, and I thank you for asking my humble opinion. And again, it's just my take on it. I think over the years, it wasn't talked about in history, and it wasn't, the history of Canada was a little bit different when I grew up. And I'm so glad to see that education, advocation, and awareness is now on the top of the list of priorities, not only with the school boards, but of Canada itself, to really know its roots, its history of the Indigenous peoples, the origins, the culture, the attitudes, the values, the beliefs, why we do things, why each clan is very different, opposed to thinking everybody's the same, that there's diversity within the Indigenous sector. So I think that you couldn't just celebrate it for one day. There's a lot of history to share.
Absolutely, yeah.
And a lot of advocating and education to be done and to share. And two, it's powwow month. That's when the sun is at its peak, and that's powwow season, where everybody goes to dance and to do ceremony and to do all those good things. And so I think it's a fitting month for that celebration.
Yeah, no, Donna, and like you mentioned, there's so much history that we as settlers and treaty people need to learn about, and to compact that in a month is not. It's not fittable. It's not right? There's so much to learn and so much to know. So what are some of the suggestions, if you can suggest, outside of not necessarily to wait for the month of June to find out about the Indigenous History Month, what are some of the things that as settlers and treaty people that we can take some of those small steps to learn about the history of Canada?
Well, I think it's a personal preference. We all have passions. Some people like nature. Go out to some of our historical areas in Alberta alone, such as Nordegg and Abraham Lake, and all around that area there. You can go down to Buffalo Jump down in Southern Alberta, or by the Trochu area. So if you're an outdoor enthusiast, those are the kind of things that, and the kids love stuff like that. They love to get out and about and see things for themselves and touch them, and they're visual and tactile. And for people that are on rainy days or whatever, you can get on that Google machine and you can look up different things in Alberta, the different treaties, some of the history. There's all sorts of things now on social media that if you don't prefer to read about it, you can watch some of those historical series, go to your video stores. Is there even video stores left? I don't even know anymore.
I don't think so. Blockbuster closed down years back.
The kids say stream it. I don't know anymore.
That's right.
But make yourself aware. Just and anytime we travel, whether it's in Canada or in the United States, I always make my husband and I always make a point of stopping at those historical points, and those Indigenous historical points, so that we see for ourselves, or we can visualize and see those kind of things. And the same with the things we read and the things that we ingest from social media. Make sure those sources are healthy. They come from a good perspective and somebody that's recognized, so that things just don't get too skewed. And it's just something like, it's like people loving John Wayne movies. Well, I like stuff about Indigenous people when I travel. So all those kind of things. We got lots here in Alberta.
Right.
And the Blackfoot Crossing.
Yeah. So, sorry, which one?
Blackfoot Crossing. It's up by the Siksika Nation.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's...
No, go ahead. Yeah, no, you're good.
I just get really excited, and then woo, I'm off in La La Land there. No, it's another historical point. Go down to Drumheller and see Drumheller and all around there, and then slide over to Siksika and go see Blackfoot Crossing. And there's lots of historical grounds there. Not even grounds, it's hundreds and hundreds of acres and landmarks. And then they've got the interpretive center, and you can have you have a restaurant there. Oh my God, there's so many good things there.
Yeah, no, and Donna, what I really liked is that what you mentioned and touched on as well is that when doing these outings, especially in the warmer weather, you can go together as a family, including with your children as well. And when you're visiting these places, is really touch on those historical points, recognize the land that you're walking on at the same time. So that's all part of learning what Canada is all about. At the same time.
Yeah, and in this different time, shall I say, that we're all kind of recapitulating our wheels. That's kind of what it's all about, is sharing with family. Once again, going back to those basic teachings of spend time with your children, teach them about the land that they walk on, the people that they're living with, the world that they're going to experience. And I think it's a much funner time to hang out with your kids and do stuff like that than, you know, I don't know, other things, I guess.
I agree, Donna, and it's the best way to teach history of Canada when you're out and about and exploring, and the kids can actually, you know, walk those lands at the same time, rather than sitting in a classroom and learning about the history, or you know, the students listening to a speaker coming in, which is also impactful, but actually being out into the space, it's just a very different experience.
Oh yes, when you can see and touch and hear and feel, that's a lot different than here. That longer journey, here to your heart.
Absolutely.